Welcome back to another awesome video.
Today we're going to switch gears from stereo stuff and talk about office chairs for a minute. We have two new office chairs. We have a DPS Gaming Chair from Costco, and we have a Shaquille O'Neal Premier Collection Zephyrus chair from Office Depot. Now the DPS chair was about $150 and the Shaquille O'Neal chair was $300. So one of the things we discovered when we were putting these chairs together is they're both made by the same company, True Innovations. They're both actually made in Vietnam, and the Shaq chair is definitely a more premium product, but is it worth twice the price of the DPS chair? There are actually a couple of things that are kind of cool on the DPS chair that this doesn't have. We're going to talk about those in a second, but let's look at some key differences. Okay, so the DPS chair is rated at 300 pounds. The Shaq chair is rated at 400 pounds. This one has a 10-year guarantee. This one only has a 2-year guarantee, but of course those guarantees, if you read the fine print, not everything's guaranteed for 10 years. Who do you think the audience is for this one?
Teens.
Yeah, gaming, home use. You could tell it's got the sort of the blue highlights. It's got the bomb logo DPS, which is damage per second. Whereas the Shaquille O'Neal chair is more targeted towards office workers. It has a more professional looking feel to it and a little bit more subdued. Other than the Shaquille O'Neal name on the back, it's less, more kind of blends in the background. The Shaquille O'Neal chair is bigger. It comes in a bigger box, but it's not that much bigger. I mean, it's, you know, a little bit deeper, a little bit wider, but not that much.
That's for Shaq.
Yeah. The DPS chair has armrests that adjust up and down. The Shaquille O'Neal chair actually has armrests that adjust up and down, and they pivot and they go forward and back. So a little bit more functional armrests. Moving back and forth between them, the Zephyrus chair definitely feels more comfortable. Not only is it roomier, but there's a lot more padding, and I get more of this wraparound feeling I don't get with the DPS chair. However, don't get me wrong, that DPS chair is very comfortable as well. I sat in it all day working at a computer and it's fine. But even though it's almost the same size, I do notice it's a smaller chair. It feels like a smaller chair when I move back and forth. One exception is the DPS armrests. Those things are padded, whereas the Zephyrus chairs are not. So those things actually have better padding, but they don't move around. Another major difference that's pretty significant between these two chairs is the way they recline. When you unlock the DPS chair, the back reclines separately from the seat. But on the Shaquille O'Neal chair, the angle between the seat and the back is fixed, so the whole chair reclines together. This could be an important difference if you like to lean back in your chair a lot. Another difference is the controls. The Zephyrus controls are located in front of the armrests, while the DPS controls are behind the armrest. And this is a minor difference. May not even matter depending on how long your arms are, but to me, the DPS controls are easier to find. For me, I usually don't spend anything. I mean, literally zero on office chairs. My two previous office chairs were hand-me-downs that my old company was getting rid of when they refurnished their office. So if you're coming from that perspective, either one of these is a big step up. But just first impressions, and using these less than a week, I think the Shaq chair is my favorite. But I will say I do like the back recline feature of the DPS. I wish the Shaq chair had that too.
As soon as I sat down in the Shaq chair, I can feel it's a little bit wider.
Definitely, yeah.
And it feels a little smooth. But then also, if you look closely at the Shaq chair, the Shaq O'Neal one, it has that same grid pattern as the DPS one.
Yeah. You can really tell these two are made by the same company. They got pretty much the same DNA in them.
And it's also, this one's way more smoother. The headrest is actually bigger. If you're like a gaming person, you want a nice style chair where your friends can be jealous.
Well, I don't know if they're going to be jealous of a $150 Costco chair, but we'll see. Assembling these chairs was very easy and only took about 15 minutes each. They have well-labeled parts, screws, and even a screwdriver tool included. If you could follow even basic directions, these are a breeze to put together. Obviously, we're not chair reviewers on this channel. This is kind of a quick comparison, so we're going to wrap this up. But before we do, one more interesting thing we can kind of give a perspective on is how long are these things going to last? 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 2022, we actually got you a DPS chair. So we're going to bring that in and compare DPS to DPS and see how it goes. So we got another DPS gaming chair from Costco, same price 2 or 3 years ago. So we can kind of see how it wears, how it feels. So let's sit in those chairs.
Kind of tell it's been used. This one leans the whole chair back like the Shaq one. This one just leans his back piece back.
Yeah.
And also, you can look, if you look at the headrest, this one is a lot bigger, and this one's a little bit smaller, so they're kind of downsized.
Yeah, they have made some changes in the years as far as design goes. The old one still feels good after 2 or 3 years. I don't know. We're going to look on the bottom, and we'll throw the manufacturer dates on the screen here so you can see what the age difference. is, we're definitely past the warranty period on the older one, and you can start to see some of the fabric, some wearing at the stitching, but I mean, it still works. It still seems pretty good. They're distributing different bases with these chairs, and the older DPS chair has the cable-driven controls and the single reclining seat, whereas the newer one has a little bit cheaper controls, but the back does recline separately. But DPS versus DPS, I think just in general, like I said, if you're just going from an old ratty chair, this DPS thing is going to feel great. You probably want to, before you spend twice that amount, you probably want to actually go sit on the Shaq chair. Anyway, that's about it. Just a quick review of these two chairs, and go ahead.
And also, if you're going to buy one of these at Costco, they will have like a display model so you could sit in it.
Yes.
That's what I did before I bought that, and I liked it.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, that's about it. Hopefully our next video will be back to the audio equipment, but that's about it, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time for another awesome video.
Bye.